Hi everyone, I'm Jo from Essential Life Empowerment and a big welcome to everybody who's joined us today. I'm going to go and jump into my screen share and get this happening for you. And today we are going to talk about easy gift giving and gift ideas coming up to the holiday season. And any time of year really, it's really great to have some awesome DIY stuff, some nice luxury things, and it's really easy to be able to make things that are personalized to people, make things that are really friendly no matter what your budget is, whether you've got a really nice healthy big budget or whether you're working within a really limited budget. You can have a look at some DIY stuff that you can hand make. It's really nice when we put our own effort and energy into things and thoughts behind our gifts. So it's really lovely to be able to pass something on that is handmade with love. And I'm also going to go through some other ideas of just some really beautiful ready-made things that are out there to be able to make up your own little gift packs with. So let's jump straight into it. So first thing we want to have a look at when we're looking at gift giving and ideas around that is who is the person we're looking at gifting to and what is it that they want, or maybe what is it that they need. So maybe have a think about whether we would like to gift them something that is just something that's nice to have, something that's a bit luxurious, a bit nice, something that's a bit of a want. Or is there something that we know that's going on in their life that we actually would like to give them something that will help support them with that? You know, do we want to give them something that's a little bit more targeted for them and something that's actually going on in their life? So have a little bit of think about around those two things, around who it is you're looking at gifting to. And we're going to have a look at some ideas around self-care that we can give to people, which is in sort of the more wants category, although self-care is definitely a need. Everybody needs self-care. And then some things that are in just the support for our general lives as well. So when it comes to making up personalized scents and blends for people, we need to have a look at what's considered different notes. And so I'm going to take you through a really slight overhaul of how to blend things, because when we blend and combine different notes with a top, a middle and a base, then the blend is actually going to stick around much longer than if we were to just use notes at the top, which tend to flash away much more quickly than a base note, which is going to stick around much longer. So it's great to be able to see if we can combine some of those and then have a think about that when we're making up our blends. So we want to, it's this very, very basic idea of what the different notes are for base, middle and top notes. So our base, we want to make up about 20% of the blend, and we want to add that in first. Okay, so I know it looks might look a little bit strange to me having it reversed here, but there is a reason for that, because we do want the base to be put in first at the bottom, and then to that we add the middle, which we want to make up about 50% of the blend, and then at the top we want to be about 30% with our top notes, and that will give us a nice balanced blend just balanced blend. So in terms of what is what, there are big lists that you can go and have a look at online if you want to look specifically for what note a specific scent is or a specific essential oil is. But in general, if you're just on the fly putting something together, in general, woods are base notes, and your deep spices like your cinnamon and your clove and things like that. Some really deep florals are also considered base notes, so anything that's really deep and heavy. So that's why a lot of those woods, so you consider that's, you know, from the root of the plant, it makes a lot of sense that that's then a base note. You know, it's from the bark, the wood, and things like that. So your middle notes are generally most of your florals and also your herbs and things like that. So that's what sits around the middle notes. And then sitting up at the top is most of your citruses, and then also your mints. And your mint includes your, you know, your obvious peppermint, spearmint, but also remembering things like, thank you, that there are other things that are also in the mint family. So it's always good to check if you're unsure, but this is a really great basic guide. You don't have to use all three. If you're not making up a blend that has, you know, that has 3 different oils, you don't have to use all 3, but it is good to consider to use at least 2 separate notes when you're making up a blend for somebody. Okay, so that's a nice, really just quick intro to blending, and there's plenty of resources online if you want to have a look a little bit further into that. So why do we want to use essential oils? Because when we're making our things, sorry, I think this one just wants a little bit of a feed. I'll just quickly pop that up there. So the great thing about using essential oils to be able to make our DIY recipes and make gifts for people is that they literally cost cents per drop. So it means that we can pick and choose exactly what our budget is, and we can bump up or bump down recipes that are going to suit whatever our budget is. So I personally really love that. It means that I can have a look at recipes and think, okay, I can use 10 drops in this recipe, or this recipe takes 30 drops, and compare that way. Or the essential oils themselves, maybe you want to use some of the more precious oils in your blending, or perhaps you're on a really strict budget and you want to go with something like lemon, which is only, you know, 12 cents per drop. So that is, sorry, I think lemon's only 10 cents a drop, but yeah, super, super cheap. So that's what's really fabulous about it. And the great thing about the doTERRA oils is that they are so potent that you can use, you know, you can use a very small amount of drops and you are going to get a really potent and powerful effect. You know, if you're making up a gift for a child, for example, you're going to use about 1/10 of the oils that you might use in an adult blend, for example. So things like that are really fabulous to be able to consider when we're DIYing our projects and looking at giving gifts that can be either, you know, luxurious and precious and, you know, super, super high on the luxury scale, or as frugal as we want it to be, while still being luxurious and glamorous. So the other thing to consider is not just the oils, because of course, you know, yes, we can just gift people essential oils, which is fabulous, you know, great gifts. But we're talking about, you know, actually making gifts as well. So what we want to have a look at is what's some stuff that we've actually got already lying around the house that we can repurpose that's going to be useful when we're gift giving. So a lot of the time we're really just looking for a container, something to be able to put whatever our blend is or our mix. So old recycled jars or bottles are really, really fabulous for that, and can be really, really pretty as well. Spray bottles or old perfume bottles can be really brilliant to be able to make your own scents and room sprays and things like that. And I do have a jar over here just as an example. This is my favorite. I love these little coffee jars. They're really fabulous and really easy to use. And these ones I love particularly because they come apart and they're all washable. So glass is really preferable where we can, although understanding that when we're giving gifts, you know, we might not want something that's breakable if it's going to a household where that could be an issue. So plastic, if you are looking at plastic, PET plastic is actually the plastic which works best if we're storing something that has essential oils in it. Generally, the more diluted it is, the less likely the plastics are to break down anyway, if that's all you've got. But glass or some sort of aluminium or metal is great to be able to store stuff in for whatever you've got lying around. So old jar, or here's my old spray bottle for an example as a really lovely perfume for someone or room spray. So have a look at what we've got around the house, and the other extra things apart from what to store them in is what other ingredients we might need. So things that are as simple as salt, sugar, water, bicarb powder, things that we might already have that are lying around the house are really, really fabulous. You know, things that are easy and things that are quite easy to source if we don't have them lying around the house, and quite cheap and budget friendly as well, which I really love. You know, it's quite easy to source. And you can choose that on a sliding scale of luxury or preciousness as well if you like. You know, you can go as pure and refined and organic with your sugar as you want and sea salt, or you can grab the cooking salt you've got at the back of the cupboard. It doesn't matter, and you'll find that different things work for different purposes anyway. So what are some great gift ideas that we can combine these household items and essential oils to be able to make for people? So I've listed down just a few here, and these are some of my favorites because they are so easy to make. And I'm going to take you through how to make a couple of them in just a second. I'll actually make a couple of them alongside you, but most of them are actually fairly self-explanatory. So bath salts, for example, any of your Epsom salts or magnesium salts, you know, add up to, I usually add about 20 drops of essential oil to a nice decent jar of bath salts. Beautiful gift. You know, you can personalize the scent in that way to be nourishing and beautiful, or just to be lovely scented for the person that you're targeting. It's beautiful. But something just as simple as plain lavender is absolutely beautiful in bath salts for something that's nourishing. Hand and body cream and lotion. I've put this here. This is the doTERRA actually has a base hand and body cream which comes unscented. So being able to add our own blends of essential oils to that is a really, really beautiful way to be able to personalize a gift and pass it on to somebody and to be able to use. And then you can choose, if you want, you can target that to be more about a hand cream or facials or body or whatever it is that takes your fancy. The reed diffuser is super simple to make, usually about 20 to 30 drops of essential oil, and you can either use fractionated coconut oil or you can use vodka. And what you do is you just get your container, and I'll just use this as an example, and you just add your vodka or your fractionated coconut oil in that, pop your reeds in and your essential oils, and they will draw up and let the scent out into the room. Same as a lot of reed diffusers that seem to be trending everywhere else. The difference between the vodka and the fractionated coconut oil is that the vodka will evaporate much more quickly, which does mean that it will give you a bit of a stronger scent. And the fractionated coconut oil will stick around much longer and evaporate much more slowly, but the scent won't be as strong. So that the coconut oil might be a great one to use in, say, a bathroom where you want the scent to stick around for a while but not be too potent in an enclosed room. But a bigger room, you might want to use the vodka where it's going to be more potent and stick around longer, and you can change it more often. So the shower melts and the exfoliating scrub I'm really excited to take through with you in a second. And the final one that I've written down here is a pure fume. Now I really love this because it is a great way to just make up a personalized scent for somebody. And it can be in the form of, say, a deodorizing powder. You can make a roll-on with fractionated coconut oil, or you can make a spray depending on however it is that they would prefer. And to make a spray is really super simple, just 20 to 30 drops of essential oil, whatever your choice is. And all you need to do is add just a pinch of any salt to the bottom of your container, mix in your oils and swirl it up and keep smelling as you go until you get the smell you like, and then just top it up with water and you're done. Really super simple. And there's recipes for room sprays on my website, on my blog, essentiallifeempowerment.com, if you want a bit more detail on that one. That's why I haven't gone through a how-to on that one. So let's get into our how-tos, because this is exciting. So these are the most difficult recipes that I could find when it comes to making up simple gifts for people. So these are shower melts, and I'm just going to grab my ingredients and things. So I'm just bringing this down here. I've got my bicarb, and I've got my salt, and my cups, and this one, and a little bit of water, and a bowl. Okay, so this is super simple. So we're going to go through this really quickly. This is a half cup I've got in my hand. So I'm going to do 2 of these for 1 cup of the bicarb. There we go. Yeah, you can see me now. I'm just checking you can still see the screen while I'm working. And then we want half a cup of salt. This is just some natural sea salt that I happen to have lying around. There we go. Now we only want up to 2 teaspoons of water, so we don't want very much at all. So I'm just going to get a spoon to stir, and I'm just going to mix that through very, very lightly. So it needs to still look dry, but start to hold together. Okay. Grab a little bit more water. Starting to get there now. This is actually my first time making them, so I'm going to see how quick and easy this is actually. There we go. Starting to get there. All right. So once it starts sticking together, but still looking dry like that. Yeah, there we go. You can see that. Excellent. All right, now we're going to add in our oils. So I've chosen to give you an example of when our blending notes are a bit different to what we mentioned earlier, okay? So I'm going to start with rosemary, and in this case, rosemary is a middle note. So in this case, I actually have a middle note and 2 top notes because eucalyptus has such a high menthol rate in it that it is in the top note family. So we're actually going to bump all of the values up. We're going to treat this as our base, even though it's a middle note. So, and we're going to do 20 drops all up. So we're going to start with 4 of rosemary. And that's 10 of eucalyptus. And 6 of peppermint. There we go. So we've got base, middle, and top. And then I'm just going to use my spoon to give that a little stir in, just so I don't get the oil straight on my hand. All right, stir it through. And I will grab out, I've got a silicone tray, which is the handiest one to use if we can. If we don't have that, just any cup tray that you've got, cupcake tray is going to work really, really well. So I'm just going to chuck these in like this. I don't even know if this is how it's supposed to work, but just for the sake of keeping things nice and quick for you guys who are watching. Here we go. I'll pop these in and just press them down. That's it. Ah, oh, beautiful. Oh. So they're going to hold together really nicely. All right, press, press, press. nice and messy, but I can tell you this smells amazing already. This is one shameful thing about being online instead of being here, is that you can't smell how amazing this is. But on the upside, I didn't have to have a shower before we started, so. All right, so I'm just gonna press that down. I won't work too hard on that, just for the sake of time. So you get the idea. Here we go. Now, let me just jump out of my screen share for 2 seconds. That wasn't what I was meant to do. Aha, there we go. Just to make sure that I've still got. So that's what they look like when they're pressed down. And then we're just going to leave them for 1 to 2 days to let them set. And then they'll be nice and easy to be able to pop out and jump. And we just dump them straight in the bottom of our shower when we jump in. And they're going to melt away while we're in there. And one secret I can tell you as a natural cleaner is that that not only is going to be really beautiful for you to wake up to and feel fresh, but it's also going to add cleaning benefits into your shower as well while you're there. So hip hip hooray for double purposes there. So I'll pop this out of the way now, and we'll move on to doing our exfoliating body scrub, which is super, super exciting. So for this one, we're going to go with some coconut oil, some sugar, and just 10 drops of oils this time. And I'm going to use this little jar to pop them in. So let's see how easy this one is. I just need to grab my 1/4 cup for my coconut oil. Now let's see how well this fits in here. Just grab that out of my jar. Stick it in my 1/4 cup. Ah, perfect. Okay. Just grab a little bit more there. All right, so that's pretty melty. And then I'm just going to pop that in my microwave just to melt it down completely. So the reason that we're going to use this type of coconut oil instead of the fractionated coconut oil is because it is going to set a little bit harder, which is actually going to come in quite handy when we're using it as a scrub, because it's going to set a bit hard when it's in the container, but then when we scoop it out and we start rubbing it all over ourselves, it's especially under a warm shower, it's going to then dissolve and rub off really smoothly and rinse off really beautifully. But it's going to leave a nice little oily residue on there. So our skin's going to feel really nice and beautiful all day. So that looks like it needs, oh no, I've got it, there we go. So I just did that for 30 seconds and there's still a couple of little clumpy bits, but I don't really mind. So here's our jar. Pop it in there. All right, now we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar. Here's our 1/2 cup. I might actually use 2/4 cups because that's such a small thing there, because then that way, there we go. I'll just dip that in really easily. 1, 2. Beautiful. All right, now we'll give it a little bit of a mix around. There we go. Now it's got this really beautiful scrubby texture you can see there, and we're going to add in our oils. So this time I've chosen frankincense for our base, and then lavender for our middle, and lemon as our top. Okay, and this is going to be really, really beautiful. These are all things that are really nourishing for the skin, so it's going to be really beautiful for something that we're going to want to put on our body. So base note, 20%, so 1, 2 frankincense. 50% lavender, middle note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then lemon at the top. 1, 2, 3. Done. All right. So now we're just going to give it a little stir. Mix up all of the different oils. Ah, now we can smell that coming through. Beautiful. Now you can choose what consistency you want to keep it at. It is going to solidify a little bit more, as I said. Now we've mixed it all nice. So it doesn't say specifically how long to set that for, but if you want to leave it somewhere that's just a bit cooler than normal, then that's going to set to a really nice scrubby consistency so it doesn't all run out at once and you're going to be able to just scoop it out piece by piece. And there you have really simple exfoliating body scrub. Beautiful to use all over your body and with stuff from just in the cupboard. How awesome and simple is that? So I'm going to pop that one to the side now and just move my stuff out of the way. And sit back down again. So now that we've been through a couple of just the really easy do-it-yourself recipes that we've got, I'm going to just take you through just a few things that we've got that doTERRA have that are ready-made. If you want to just grab and go and make up your own little gift pack for someone. These are just a few examples. So feel free to just hit pause or take a couple of moments because there are a lot there, or go and explore the website. I'm not going to go too much into them, but they are all really beautiful and the experts have done all of the blending for you on those ones. So that is a really great advantage of being able to just pick and play with those ones. Lots of stuff there for your skincare, face care packs, bath and body, and things like that. So really, really beautiful. So where can you go for further resources? So if you don't already have essential oils in your life, now is a really great time to get some of them in your life. Feel free to come and have a chat to me or whoever your closest doTERRA contact is, and to be able to find a way that's going to be able to get them in your life that suits you the best. So once you've got your hands on some essential oils, then all you need to do is have a look at what recipe it is that's going to suit you. I hope I've given you a few really great ideas today on some simple recipes that you can use with stuff that you've got around your cupboard. And you've got some really easy, luxury, simple gift ideas to be able to use. So I hope you're feeling a bit more empowered in gift giving. I'm just going to stop the recording now to be able to say goodbye to everybody who's not here with us live, and then I'm going to be able to answer some questions. So thanks very much, everybody. And I'm going to stop.